Hi, I'm Ryan from RTINGS.com. Today we'll be doing a review of the Toshiba C350 Fire TV 2021. We'll be evaluating it on our standardized test bench to see how it performs and if you should buy it. We bought and tested the 55-inch model, and we expect the other sizes to perform similarly. Do note that the 50-inch version of this TV has a VA panel, so most of this review will still be reflective of its performance, but the 50-inch version will have better blacks at the expense of narrower viewing angles. This TV is the successor to the Toshiba Fire TV 2020. The Toshiba C350 Fire TV 2021 has a pretty standard design, so there isn't too much to talk about. It is a slight redesign from last year and looks sleeker. The stand doesn't support the TV that well, as there is noticeable wobble forwards and backwards, and it doesn't support the TV very high, so you may have issues placing a soundbar in front without blocking part of the screen. The inputs are located on the left center side, and the 4 HDMI 2.0 ports allow you to connect a variety of devices. One of the ports also supports ARC or audio return channel that you can connect to your receiver or soundbar to play sound from the TV through your external speakers. eARC or Enhanced Audio Return Channel is supported this year, so you can also pass higher quality Dolby Atmos and DTS:X signals. The back of the TV fits the VESA mount standard, so you can wall mount it for a cleaner look, and it has a pretty typical thickness, so it will stick out a bit. The build quality of the TV is decent, which is not bad for an entry-level TV. It's made of plastic and metal, and does feel a bit cheap with some flex in the panels. There's no wobble side to side, but as mentioned before, it does wobble front to back. Now onto our test results, and we'll start with the contrast. A high contrast ratio results in deep dark scenes, which is good if you want to watch movies in a dark room like a home theater environment. This TV has an IPS panel, and the blacks are washed out and appear as gray. The 50-inch version that has a VA panel should have darker blacks and therefore a higher contrast ratio. This TV doesn't have a local dimming backlight to help improve the disappointing contrast. On the other hand, if you want to use the TV in a bright room, then a high peak brightness is important to overcome glare. Unfortunately, the Fire TV 2021 has bad brightness, below average for most TVs. This also means it can't produce bright highlights in newer high dynamic range or HDR content, as it appears less bright than most other TVs. If you don't care about a brighter image, then this might be fine, but this TV will not be able to overcome glare in moderate to well-lit rooms. If you have an average amount of light in the room, this won't be for you. Also important for a bright room is good reflection handling. You can see that this TV handles reflections all right, but the intensity isn't significantly reduced, so it doesn't help enough to counteract glare in most room conditions. If you've got a wide seating arrangement or like to watch TV with family and friends, then good viewing angles help to ensure no one's left with washed out colors or crushed details. Fortunately, this is one aspect the IPS panel shines in, as the viewing angles on the C350 are good. Colors and brightness start to fall off a bit at moderate angles off-center. An overall uniform screen brightness and color is important when watching sports or playing video games, to avoid the appearance of clouding known as the dirty screen effect. This does vary between units, but we expect the Toshiba Fire TV 2021 we bought to be about typical. It's decent overall, but there is bad DSC in the center of the screen, as well as dark edges. In really dark scenes, the black uniformity is bad, as the whole screen appears blue due to the low contrast ratio, and the edges are a bit darker. A lot of people care that a TV has good colors. In the case of the Toshiba C350 Fire TV 2021, the TV can display decently deep saturated greens, reds, and blues. This is alright for those who like an image with extra saturation, or for watching high dynamic range content on streaming services, but there is no wide color gamut and is one of the lowest scoring TVs we've tested. Some TVs struggle to display smooth gradients, so when watching a movie with a sunset, some banding can be visible. In the case of this TV though, it isn't an issue, with great gradient performance, and there's also a debanding filter setting which helps even more. When playing video games, a fast response time is important for the clearest image without distracting blur. The Toshiba Fire TV 2021 has a decent response time overall, but some blur may be noticeable in some scenes. The new 50-inch version from this year is a VA and might perform a bit better and be fine for casual gaming, but we haven't tested it. A low input lag is also important for a responsive feel when playing video games, and thankfully this TV is great in this regard. It only has a 60Hz panel though, so for extremely smooth and responsive higher refresh rate gaming, it isn't a good choice. Speaking of gaming, this TV supports all of the common signals up to 60 Hz, which is fine for casual gamers, but for a more responsive experience with a new Xbox or PS5, it isn't the best choice. It doesn't support any variable refresh rate technologies though, which may result in some visible tearing in games. It also can't display Chroma 444 properly at any resolution, making it a bad choice for PC gamers who want clear text. As the name suggests, the Toshiba C350 Fire TV 2021 uses the Amazon Fire TV platform. It's relatively easy to use, and the menu navigation feels smooth with no obvious bugs. It's not as advanced as some other platforms, but it's still good for most people. You can't cast from your other devices such as a cell phone because there is no Google Chromecast built in. You can only mirror from an Android phone or AirPlay from an Apple device. The sound of this TV is disappointing and below the performance of most modern TVs. Having said that, TVs are getting thinner and thinner. Good sound doesn't tend to be much of a focus, so if this is something you care about, then an external soundbar or speakers is the way to go. In this case, it's definitely recommended. So, this brings us to the main question. Should you buy this TV? Well, honestly, it's a basic 4K smart TV. The low brightness means it only works well in dark rooms, but the IPS panel and elevated black levels disappoint in dark rooms. So overall, this is likely not the right TV for you, as there are better budget options from other manufacturers. If you're looking for a similar range of features and better picture quality at a budget price, consider the Hisense A6G, which can usually be found for cheaper. Or for a little more, the Hisense U6G is a much better option all around.